us back live from Tableau Conference 2019. We're here in Las Vegas getting ready for the ultimate showdown in data visualization. We're here for Iron Viz. I am so excited. I'm so lucky to be here with our Tableau ambassador, Mira. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Are you excited for this?
I'm very excited.
Oh my God. Guys, Iron Viz is one of my favorite thing. And I know I said that about Keynote this morning, but this is also kind of my favorite. So here's the deal. For those of you who don't know, 3 data rock stars battled it out with all of the other data rock stars across the globe to get a spot on this stage and to go after it for eternal glory. They're going to get a data set that they haven't seen from Pitney Bowes in just a little bit, and then they're going to create a visualization in front of everyone in a limited amount of time. Like, the pressure, I cannot even handle it. So you participated in this, is that right?
Yes,
okay,
that's
so
right.
you've got to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I want to hear about what you think about the visualizations that got us to this round.
Sure. So I'm from Singapore, and I work at Singapore's government healthcare organization. I work as a senior specialist in data visualization.
Awesome.
This is my very first conference and my first time to US as well. So I'm really excited. And Iron Viz is my favorite part too.
That's amazing. So when you were going through kind of the regionals and the elimination rounds, what stood out to you?
So the thing is, I participated in Theater 3, and it was really great.
Who are you rooting for tonight?
Okay, it's definitely Hisham because.
All right. Well, you guys can vote. Go online, Iron Viz. They'll tell you all about it. We'll see you after the show. Have fun, guys.
Have fun.
Welcome to Iron Viz 2019. Here are your hosts, Andy Cockgreave and Keisha Rose.
I'm here, baby.
Look at this. Whoa!
Wow.
That is the best entrance I've ever had, Keisha.
Oh, yeah.
And am I right? Did we give everybody a lightsaber this year? Whoa! Check it out. That is great swag, young Padawan.
Oh,
I love it.
Yes. Andy, these are my people. I mean, look at them. Look how they sparkle. Look at this.
Amazing.
Wow. You know, I think this has got to be the greatest show right now in Vegas.
Absolutely. And look at us. We've scrubbed up pretty well, don't you think?
What? I woke up like this.
Okay. But you know what, Keisha? Think of all the amazing artists that have performed in this stadium.
Oh, you're right. Gaga.
Iron Maiden.
Beyonce.
Barry Manilow.
No.
Her name was Lola.
Oh, gosh.
She was a showgirl. Yellow feathers.
Please spare them.
All right, it doesn't matter because we have some even bigger celebrities here, or they will be after tonight.
That's right, Andy. Someone will leave here tonight a data superstar because this is Iron Fist! Oh, this is the most prestigious analytical competition in the universe. We checked. Our next Iron Fist champion comes down to 3 fierce contenders.
That's right, they have earned their place on this stage by winning one of 3 Tableau Public qualifier competitions. Anybody can enter the qualifiers, and hundreds of you did. But only 3 people earned the right to build a viz live on this stage in front of thousands of people. Now, sure, that is probably a pretty nerve-wracking experience, but inspiring to us and to everybody here. And we're all going to make them feel right at home. Am I right, Data Fam? Excellent.
Now, as you know, Tableau Public is the heart and soul of Iron Viz. I mean, there are over 2 million vizzes on Tableau Public.
2 million?
2 million!
That's a lot.
And you know, our team, it's a lot.
A lot.
Every day, our team picks out a storytelling masterpiece for Viz of the day. So if you want a daily dose of Viz inspiration, sign up at Tableau Public. Now, better yet, if you're actually here in the conference, you can head out and see the artwork in the Viz gallery and actually just scan your badge and sign up automagically.
But not... Yeah, well, you can cheer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't go signing up for that just yet, because the task at hand here in Viz Stadium is to cheer heartily for our finalists as they battle it out with legends and filters and grids.
Oh, my. Well, together, we'll be watching our contestants every single click, drag, and drop. Then you, along with our judges, will decide whose Viz will reign supreme. Yeah.
But shouldn't the phrase rhyme?
Okay, fine. How about whose Viz dream will reign supreme?
Yeah. Or how about whose Viz is the shiz?
Oh, boy. Oh, I have a really bad feeling that that one's actually going to stick.
I think it might.
Oh, boy.
Well, why don't we welcome to the stage our esteemed panel of judges, those who, along with all of you, get to make the big calls tonight.
That's right. Here we go. First up, Vice President of Product Development, the progenitrix of Tableau Public, Ellie Fields.
Next up, it's the man who coined the term information visualization, the wonderful whiz of Viz, Tableau's technical fellow, Dr. Jock McKinley.
Next, let's welcome Tableau Zen Master, straight from Washington, D.C., the Valkyrie of Visibility, Chantilly Jagannath.
And finally, the reigning Iron Viz champion, the master of mousing, the matron of data from Belgium. It's Timothy Vermeeren.
Right. Now, our contestants will be judged in 3 criteria: analysis, design, and storytelling. Now, each contestant can earn a total of 100 points. And obviously, the one who gets the most points wins.
Yep.
Easy.
Simple.
Now, our judges, they'll allocate about 90 of those points, but the last 10 points, well, that's up to you. You can vote for your favorite viz on Twitter, but more about that later.
Now, Keisha, the audience were actually pretty good for the judges.
Yeah.
Better than we thought, but I think they need to step it up for the contestants,
I mean, they
right?
have to.
Yeah.
I think so, right? Absolutely, Andy.
Audience, you ready?
I mean, I think that was good, but I feel like we need to take some more extreme measures to really get it going.
I think so. Come on then, right?
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. We are going to divide the crowd in two. You guys over here, you are Team Andy, okay? Keisha, you have that lot. Team Andy, I want to see those lights waving and hear some noise. Do you want to see the contestants? Oh, yes. Boom.
Wow, okay. I mean, that was okay, but I think my side's got it. Show them how it's done.
Pretty good, not bad, not bad. But you're not going to let those guys show you whose boss are you. Bring it! Yes.
Okay.
I think we got it.
All right, I think they're warmed up. And with that, all together now, welcome our 2019 Iron Viz contestants!
They did pretty good, actually, Keisha.
I'm
That was
impressed.
pretty good.
My goodness.
As you know, every great hero needs a sidekick. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, Harry Potter and Ron Weasley,
Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor.
Tableau and Salesforce.
Wait, which one's the sidekick there?
Not for me to say.
Well, our heroes today are no exception, and each contestant has a fiercely dedicated Sue Visor.
Our first contestant is Joshua Smith from Ohio. He's an analytics manager at Cover My Meds and a Tableau... There's your team. And a Tableau public ambassador. Joshua has a background in creative writing, folklore, and photography. He's made it to the Iron Viz stage today with this viz, Pasture and Crop, the ways we farm our land.
And assisting Joshua is Dr. Lauren DeBay, a biology PhD and former paleontologist. She's gone from dinosaurs to data analysis and now manages a team of product consultants at Tableau. Now, our assistant is Lindsay Poulter from New York City. Yeah, oh, there it is. Her winning viz, The Emotional Range of Broadway Musicals, deserves a standing ovation. She loves the arts, which you can see by her stunning vizzes on the Tony Awards and Oscar nominations. Now, Lindsay is a data visualization consultant, there we go, at Wells Fargo, and a Tableau public ambassador.
And assisting Lindsay is Mark Bradbourne, Some of you may know him. He's a former Tableau social ambassador and a former Tableau user group co-leader from Cleveland. But the reason he's former is because he recently joined Tableau as a sales consultant.
Woo!
Right, and our final contestant is Hisham Isa. He was born in Cairo and he lives in London. Yes, thank you, Londoners. A former personal trainer, he likes running, cycling, and camping, and he won his qualifier round with this viz, the Global Journey of Refugees. He's a consulting analyst at the Information Lab. And guess what? This is his first Tableau conference, and he's been using Tableau for less than a year.
Yeah. Now, assisting Hisham is Ivan Coelho, another London inhabitant. He is fluent in Portuguese, Spanish, English, and data, and is a senior product consultant at Tableau. Give it up for all our contestants and our Sue-visors. Now, remember, audience, you can vote for your favorite viz on Twitter, and that goes for our thousands of friends watching online too.
Now, when you tweet, include hashtag IV19, it's a bit more complicated this year, and the contestant's name. So for contestant 1, tweet hashtag IV19 Joshua. For contestant 2, hashtag IV19 Lindsay, with an E, not an A. And for Hisham, it's hashtag IV19 Hisham. And now for the terms and conditions for the scoring. We'll count the tweets until a minute or so after our judges' questions at the end. The 10 audience Twitter votes are divided among the contestants based on the percentage of total Twitter votes each receives. For example, if a contestant receives 20% of all the Twitter votes, then they receive 2 points. If they receive 30% of all the Twitter votes, they receive 3 points.
Or you could just look in the app. Yeah, that too. Now, vote wisely, since you can only vote once. Now, your votes will be combined with the judges' scores to determine the next Iron Viz champion. Now, there's one more piece. It's critical. The data set. I mean, we can't really do our Iron Viz without it. Now, the theme of which our contestants will base their masterful creations on, and today, they'll be using the, well, not quite so secret anymore, really.
No.
But the data set is food data!
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes.
No, wait, are we done? Oh.
Yeah, I think we have to stop. Right.
Fine,
Okay.
fine.
Dear God. Thanks to our data providers, Pitney Bowes, we have a delicious selection from their World Points of Interest and Demographics data. This succulent data set features hundreds of food-related categories from restaurants and food stores in 13 countries, from Thai restaurants to pizzerias, from farmers markets to supermarkets, from pastries to pot roasts. And if they so desire, they could bring in a secondary data source, also from Pitney Bowes, the MBI-based demographics, and blend it all together using Tableau Prep Builder.
Ooh, will our visitors specialize in one artisanal data set, or will they use everything in the data pantry? Will they scour the world for the perfect French fry, or go hyper-local and hunt the elusive vegetable in Vegas?
We'll find out soon, and they're going to use their unique data source to build the best possible viz live in 20 minutes. Now, Keisha, think about the possibilities with this data set. I want to see pie charts and waffle charts and donut charts.
Oh, donuts. You know, I love a good donut. Yeah, glazed. Oh, yeah. We actually have an extension in the gallery that can do some donut charts.
Cool, I'll go check it out. All right, who's ready to get this started? Yeah. Get the lightsabers going and help us count down from 5. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open
Okay, well, let's meet and greet our Sue-visors. Now, for those of you that are new to Tableau Iron Viz, our Sue-visors are hand-picked Tableau product experts that have been paired with each contestant in the run-up to today. They've been helping our visitors prep today's data.
Let's visit first with Lauren DeBay. They're already loving it in the crowd.
Really?
All right,
Yes.
Lauren. Lauren, tell us, what culinary wizardry, or should I say wizardry,
Oh boy.
are we going to be seeing from healthcare expert Joshua today?
Yes, well, healthcare expert Joshua is going to be building a viz from his heart, naturally. Food data is wonderful because we all eat food all the time. Food is part of our culture, and it brings people together. And Josh found a story in this data that is very personal to him and that he's going to tell with his dashboard. But that dashboard will also allow you to explore the data and tell your own very personal story with food.
Great, thanks, Lauren. Next, let's check in with Mark Bradbourne. Mark, are you excited to be a Tableau supervisor today?
Just a little bit.
Kind of bit?
A whole lot. He is so excited.
Now, you're in pretty good company here with Lindsay, a fellow Tableau junkie. But tell us, how will Lindsay slice, dice, and crunch her data?
So today you're going to watch Lindsay do what she does best, a business-style dashboard that lets the data truly shine in this project. I can't wait to hear the crowd's reaction when her viz is done. It's going to be amazing.
All right, great stuff, Mark. Finally, let's hear from Ivan Coelho. Now, Ivan, Hisham is our rookie in the stadium. Tableau for less than a year, right?
That's true, that's
All
true.
right. So, how's that going to come into play as he tackles the data set?
Well, even though he's only been using Tableau for less than a year, he's actually already a master at drag and dropping. But the one thing I do admire the most in him is actually his eye for design and making things that are concise yet strong, but also his ability of finding the human side of the data. And that's what we're going to be seeing today. We're going to end up with something that's really, really impressive.
Cool.
So cool. Thanks, Ivan. Now, while we wait for things to marinate, it's time to check back in with you.
All right, yeah, let's go to our field reporter, Taha Ibrahimi, Director of Tableau Public and Community. Taha, welcome to Viz Stadium. What's it looking like down on the floor?
Thank you so much, Andy. I'm down here on the floor, and the energy is intense. With me, I have Wendy Mu, a student from the University of Southern California. Welcome, Wendy. I understand that you got a peek at the data set before the show, and I'm curious, was there anything particularly interesting that you noticed?
Well, I think the data is really challenging. I mean, it's so big, it has so many variables. I don't know how they're going to deal with that.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It'll be really interesting to see how our contestants will approach this. Next up, we have David Perez, a past European Iron Viz champion, also the head of data visualization at Expedia Group based in London. David, welcome back. Given that you know what it's like to be up there on stage, could you share with the audience a little bit about what we should be looking for right now and what you're looking for specifically?
Thank you. It's great to be back. And one of the interesting things to see is how they are using some techniques to accelerate their process, like bringing in color palettes straight on at the beginning to save time later on. And it was really good to see some of the techniques to use make point, which is a new feature that came out recently. So that's really good to see that they are incorporating in their visualizations new features that came out 2 months ago.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, David. Back to you, Andy and Keisha.
Great. Thanks, Taha and guests, for that delightful food for thought. Huh? No?
You've been saving that one up, right?
All right, a little bit, okay?
Let's just progress quickly and go and see how things are looking on the screen and get some early thoughts from the judges. Ellie, good evening.
Andy, hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. It's great to see you. What do you want to see tonight emerging in terms of great communication?
In terms of great communication, I think all of the contestants have shown through the feeder competitions that they can communicate well with data. And what I'm really looking for is seeing what kind of story they want to bring out and whether that story is a narrow one or one that's kind of broadly applicable.
All right. Thank you, Ellie.
Great. Now let's move on to Jock. Jock, you are an expert in the cognitive science of data visualization. How do you expect our contestants to use those rules for storytelling success?
So we got to interview them yesterday and look at their prep flows and also the cut and paste. It's been fabulous. We actually asked them all about their use of color, and that's one of those areas where the cognitive science and just the psychophysics is actually very important. And so we haven't seen them do the build, and so we're going to be paying attention to that absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jock. And Chantilly, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing all right. I'm having a good time. Now, you know something about designing dashing dashboards. So what's the secret sauce for success?
Being able to convey and tell a story to basic or new users of Tableau. So I really think that's what I'm looking for in the contestants, being able to tell a conveying story to any type of user. I always like to say, if my grandmother can understand it, then it's a good dashboard.
Can she be a judge next year?
Hey, she wouldn't mind.
Team, let's get Chantilly's grandma.
Thank you, Chantilly. Now let's end with Timothy. Timothy, a bittersweet moment for you. You're about to cede your crown to our next Iron Viz champion. Can you tell us what's the most important thing to get done in those first 5 to 10 minutes of the build?
Well, yeah, it looks like the 3 contestants are doing well with that. They are laying the foundations to what they're going to build to convey us that story. And I'm seeing on the screens here that they all have their own stuff, which are very different from what I think I did last year. So it's interesting to see how people tackle these situations differently. But it's going really fast. It's looking pretty good already. So
cool.
Yeah, it's looking good.
All right. Sage advice there from Timothy.
He's going to filter that.
Somebody got it. Sage. Like the herb you cook with. Oh, sorry, the herb.
Oh, come on.
You cook with. What kind of food for thought was comedy gold, Keisha?
Yeah. Well, clearly the competition is heating up here today.
A little.
That means it's time to go back to our Sous-Visors for another inside scoop. Huh? All right. Ivan, let's start with you. We know that Hisham loves the great outdoors. Tell us about his continuous green fields and discreet blue skies.
Thank you. So yeah, he likes the outdoors and he also likes traveling. So he saw geographical data, is building up maps. But not just any map. It actually has a map on top of a map on top of a map on top of a map. That's another level geography. He's also using Make Line, which is one of the features we released earlier this year that allows to easily make connections between different countries that are in the same row as latitude and longitudes. So yeah, they still have a lot of time to go, but something exciting is going to happen.
Great stuff. Thank you, Ivan. Mark, how about it? Can you lay out the parameters of Lindsay's storytelling?
So Lindsay's really starting to focus on brands and where they exist in the continental US. So you're going to start to see that story develop and bake, if you will.
Oh, I love it.
Spectacular. Thanks, Mark. Lauren, can you explain what former folklorist Joshua is working on? Are his legends legendary?
His legends are legendary, and Joshua's folklore background actually gave him a great advantage in this competition for reading the right books to be able to talk about this data in a way that made sense to him and to his story.
All right. Well, thank you, Sous-Visors, one and all. You're all making a very strong case. And it looks like in this food data challenge, all our contenders have discerning palates. Get it? Palate, mouth. They don't get any better than this, by the way. This is as far as we could go.
Yeah, okay. Well, on that note, I think it's time for another reminder about voting. So remember, our judges are going to score each viz against 3 criteria: design, analysis, and storytelling. And since each of those criteria are of equal importance, each one is going to be weighted the same. So that means 30 points per category for a total of 90 possible points per contestant.
And don't forget that you can vote too. Tweet your favorite viz, and remember, it's #IV19 and your contestants' names. Vote only once. Let's make some noise for them now. Tweet IV19 Joshua for Joshua, #IV19 for Lindsay with an E, or #IV19 for Hisham. What? There's a rowdy crowd from the UK, I believe, here. Right, that's crazy. We'll be counting the votes until a minute or so after the judges' questions at the end.
Right. Well, at that point, let's go back to Taha on the floor. Taha, how's it going on down there?
Oh, Keisha, this audience is hungry to see the results of these beautiful vizzes. But first, I have a very special guest with me, Colin Madison, Senior Solutions Consultant at Pitney Bowes Data Line of Business. Colin, thank you so much for being with us and providing this amazing data. Now, I'm really curious to know, now that you've seen these vizzes, what do you think about what the contestants are doing with what you provided?
Well, first off, let me thank you for making this data really come to life and for whetting all of our appetites. What I've really noticed is there's 2 things that are really standing out. One is how you've used brand distribution. So each contestant's kind of looking at the data and seeing different portions of that data really speak to them. So that brand data is being used in one way, and it looks like we've got some really interesting visualizations from the mapping perspective. So using that universal language of geography to tell a story to this global audience. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Colin. Again, thanks for that amazing data set. And now moving to Fee Gordon, all the way from Sydney, Australia. Fee is a senior director at JLL for BI strategy. Fee, looking up here, what's exciting for you? And tell us, what are you seeing?
What's really exciting to me is I've seen some tips and tricks that I had no idea was possible in Tableau. So the first one was with Lindsay, and just copying and pasting those formulas across and straight in was a really nice, easy thing to do, and so simple along the way. So great use there. The other thing that I really like of Lindsay's is the use of color. She's starting to push out into the background some of the other line graphs, I think, of the competitors, and looking at Subway and really bringing it to the front with the red there, and I think that looks really nice. It pops it straight out, so I'll be interested to see what the other contestants do.
Thank you so much, Fee. Really interesting. Back to you, Andy and Keisha.
All right, thank you, Taha. So we've got about 7.5 minutes left to go. Should we take a look at what's happening on the screens?
Yes.
Suvizers, who wants to tell us something about what's happening right now? Lauren is straight in. What have you got for us, Lauren?
I do. Well, Joshua is almost done with his first dashboard, as in he's going to build a second dashboard in the time it takes people to build one. They interact. Just wait for it. Here it goes. Dashboard 2 on the way.
Nice. Anybody else building 3 dashboards? Well, Hisham was doing 5 maps on top of maps.
We have 3 maps.
Mark?
Maps.
Yes.
What are you doing for duplication?
So right now, we're not doing any duplication.
Very efficient. I like it.
Everything is as it needs to be, pixel perfect. But what Lindsay's doing is prepping a customized drop-down to add some really slick interactivity using parameter actions and the show hide toggle. So it's going to be really sharp.
So that's one of the new features in the last year of Tableau, right?
Absolutely.
Do you have anything from new Tableau features?
Yes, not yet, but I'll save it.
Oh,
yeah, it's coming.
Jeez. How about you, Ivan?
Well, parameter actions, as expected, probably the coolest feature that we released in the last couple of releases, apart from set actions. Also, Hisham is going to use grid lines to pixel perfect his dashboard, something I wish more people would do.
I like it. Now, before the contest, I'd noticed that Lindsay was tweeting about tiled or floating dashboards. So which way did she decide to go, tile or floating?
So we are team floating for this competition.
How about it? Who else is team floating? Team floating.
Who has no idea what we're talking about? Probably a lot of you. Who's team tile?
Team tile? Oh! All right.
That's a good data point, everybody. I just think that's quite interesting. All right, judges, maybe we'll come to you guys for some thoughts and inputs. Does anybody have anything they want to maybe ask the Suvizers at this moment?
I have something.
You have something, Ellie. Good.
Yeah, a couple of the contestants had submitted or won their contest with long form.
Mm-hmm.
And this is more of kind of a dashboard form. So how are they going to adapt to that? And that was Hisham and Joshua, I believe.
Lauren?
We had a long form dashboard, for our entry, for Josh's entry. And we talked about that a lot, but we wanted something that was just pow on the screen all at once and you didn't have to scroll. And it's only 20 minutes.
You satisfied, Ellie?
Love to hear
Just
from Hisham.
information from the judges.
How about Ivan? What do you think?
No, that's true. It's a fair enough question. It is a transition in philosophy and the design you're going to pick. But actually, at the end of the day, when you boil it down, bringing a story in together and using the same sort of ideas of aesthetic and design and sort of the human side of data, they can be easily translated if you boil it down to that moment from long form to actually 20-minute fast build.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Timothy, I believe you had a question or a comment.
A comment indeed, yes, thank you, Andy. I'm looking at the screens and I'm seeing Joshua's screen in particular goes from a light dashboard back to a dark dashboard and then back to light and dark. I like the contrast of that. That's interesting to use that technique. Just in general, the comment is, how do you feel about dark dashboards? Should I be making a dark dashboard for this specific story I'm trying to convey? And I see that the participants have different approaches, and it's really piquing my interest. Actually.
What do you think, dark or light?
It depends.
It
Is always
depends.
the answer, isn't it?
Yes.
Good answer.
Thank you, Timothy. That's the best phrase in the world. All right. If any of you are enjoying what you're seeing and want to go and see the winning qualifiers that these guys built to get onto this stage, then make sure you go to the Viz Gallery, which is on the second floor foyer, I believe.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think it's is it? Anybody know? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, these guys know. They've been.
You.
We have created a whole gallery of incredible visualizations from Tableau Public. So be sure to go and check it out because it's amazing what these three have built and also what many hundreds and thousands of people build around the world. If you go, don't forget, you can sign up for Viz of the Day and get in your inbox an amazing visualization from Tableau Public every single day.
Yeah, and
So
actually,
make sure you do that.
You know, they might even get.
Oh, Mark, hang on a minute.
Oh, yes.
I teased it a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to make sure everybody saw Lindsay's about to add that toggle and the customized button. So
here it goes.
Watch the magic happen.
Here we go, here we go. Setting it up. It's thrilling.
It is.
Ooh.
No pressure, Lindsay. That's,
You got
yeah.
it.
Oh, and we've got buttons here. What's going on in Joshua's?
There we go.
Navigate it away from it.
Ah, he's moved away from it. All right. What are you thinking, Keisha? What do you think of what you're seeing?
I mean, it's amazing. There are some common themes, that idea between light and dark. It's interesting how they're using color on all of these dashboards. I keep looking at the one that Hisham is working on with those floating bubbles. Curious to see what that's about later.
Yeah, indeed. And are they using any of the features you have built?
Ooh, interesting. You know, we focused on webhooks and extensions today, and I don't think they have enough time for 20 minutes to do all of that.
All right. Okay, well, that's good. All right. Judges, do you have any more comments or questions?
I have a comment.
Yeah.
So what we often see here at Iron Viz is some of the contestants essentially build experiences that draw you in and allow you as a person to explore the data yourself. And sometimes we see, and this is for the audience and you're judging, sometimes we see people telling actual stories of one type or another. They're both completely valid. They use exactly the same techniques, and so you can judge how well each is being done. That's what I have to do as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Last chance for any comments from the Suvizers. Is there any how do you think the contestants are doing? Are they in control?
Doing great.
Yeah?
To go.
You
Doing
happy,
great.
Ivan?
Very
All right.
in control.
We, I believe,
There.
are into the last minute.
1 minute.
Wow, my goodness.
Can you believe how quickly that goes?
That was so fast.
I know. How should we fill the last minute? Shall I carry on with the Barry Manilow
Please,
singing?
no. No. We don't want to see that. No one wants to hear that, right? You?
Yes.
Oh, I see you.
Karaoke later on tonight. Sure. Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
That's the right place for
any
it.
song is good. All right.
Oh.
Oh well,
boy.
we have just 20 seconds. Look, there's a lot of cheers for Hesh. Is anybody
Yeah.
cheering for anybody else?
Let's hear
Lindsay
it.
and Joshua.
Yeah.
Come on, let's hear it. All right, we are in the last
Countdown.
10
Oh
seconds.
my God, here we
10,
go.
8.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark down. Let's hear it for our 3 incredible contestants.
Oh, I wasn't. Right. Wow. Whew, that was an intense 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness. That was like being in a Vitamix on 10. Oh, but our contestants, they're pretty amazing, right? Yeah.
And what do you think, Keisha? Did we make a good team? Are we an emerging dynamic duo, Andy and Keisha?
I think you mean Keisha and Andy.
Oh. All right, okay.
Now, while we wait for our contestants to rest their mouse hands and dream of some serious comfort food in their near futures, I'll remind you, you can still vote for your favorite viz using these hashtags.
All right, contestants, before you can relax, it's time for us to hear a little bit about your delectable creations. Joshua, great work. Congratulations. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your viz?
Yeah, this all started with a story. I met my best friend in college. She's a first-generation Chinese immigrant. And early in our friendship, he took me to this Chinese restaurant, a family-run restaurant that he had very carefully selected after lots of research. And then he ordered a dish for both of us. And as we ate that dish, he shared stories of what it was like eating the same dish from his family table growing up in China. And that changed how I saw the world. And when I saw international restaurants in this data, I wanted to build something that allowed us to witness those kinds of potential stories, stories of breaking bread and breaking boundaries. You see here a map of the world as it's reflected from tabletops of international cuisine restaurants in the United States. A map of the United States that's showcasing the prevalence of international cuisine, but standardized against the national average, so you can quickly see which areas are above or below average, above in blue, below in orange. The small bars indicate the different cuisine regions corresponding to this chart up in the upper right-hand corner. You can quickly assess the drivers with those. Clicking on Asian allows me to see that the primary driver of Asian cuisine is China, but maybe I want to try Mongolian food, and I can see how many states do and don't have Mongolian food. Or maybe I want to look at European food, and I can see that it's predominantly focused in New England and the East Coast. Maybe I want to know about my home and what the tabletops reflect from there. I can click on Ohio and see the world map, or Nevada, we're in Las Vegas. What does the world look like from here? But there's more to this story. There's a lot of empty space in this map. Who's missing? This data is generated from SIC codes, which are assigned based off of a form that businesses fill out, assigned by the government. 148 countries in the world aren't in these SIC codes, and Africa is the most underrepresented region in the world, with 49 of 54 countries not showing up. And it's not like we don't get this cuisine. We often homogenize very diverse groups of people. 9% of international restaurants in the US are just called ethnic or international, and no more specific than that. 18% of restaurants that serve some sort of African cuisine are just called African. These dashboards are about celebrating international cuisine and the people and the stories and the culture and the ingredients behind those things, but it's also a critical eye looking at how we think about and talk about other cultures and how that shapes and impacts data. I invite all of you to use this dashboard to share your own personal experiences like my own of one friend and one meal that forever changed who I am and the way that I see the world.
All right, thank you, Joshua. Okay, we're going to go to Ellie, Jock, and Chantilly for questions. Ellie, what would you like to ask of Joshua?
Yeah, Joshua, it's a really interesting approach to the black, white, the positive and negative, what's there and what's not. I'm interested in the world map on your front page, which takes up quite a lot of real estate compared to the tiled map, which has some very small bar charts in it. Can you talk about the use of space in your dashboard?
Yes, great question. I wanted the world to be the focus here. This isn't just about the US. This is about how the US's food identity is shaped by the rest of the world, how it has been, and how it is continually being refined by the rest of the world and the kind of cuisine we have here.
Great answer. Jock, do you have a question for Josh?
Yes. So on the normalization on the cartogram, can you describe that a little bit more for me, exactly what you did?
Yeah, so I started with international cuisine as a % of all restaurants. So that way we're not just seeing that, oh, New York has more people and there are more restaurants, and we're just seeing a population count. Once I had a % of each kind of cuisine for each state as a reflection of all restaurants, I then compared that to what the national average is. So we can quickly get an assessment of which areas have more international cuisine or have less international cuisine.
All right, thank you. And Chantilly, do you have a question for Joshua?
I do. Joshua, I would like for you to talk about your color choices, specifically for the map on the left-hand side, and the lack of a legend in helping the audience determine the different shadings and what they mean.
Yes, so blue as a prevalence of more cuisine was the reigning choice on this view of the data. Consistent in the above average for prevalence means there's more international cuisine. Wanted to stick with Tableau's default formatting for colors for two reasons. One, it's faster, let's admit it. I have a short period of time to build this stuff. But two, I'm relying on Tableau's trusted and tested science behind why they chose the colors they chose.
He's a smart guy.
Back to you, Keisha.
All right. Lindsay, well done. Why don't you tell us about this glorious viz we see before us?
Yeah, so my dashboard is the restaurant rival revealer. So it allows the user to choose a brand and look at different metrics related to its location strategy. You can then compare those metrics to its rivals, which is calculated as the brands that have the most similar number of locations. So right now the dashboard is on Subway, so we can see they have 28,000 different locations across 13,000 different zip codes. When we compare that to its competitors like McDonald's, we can see that there's a pretty big gap between the two of them. So then when we go to average population, we can kind of see where Subway's strategy is. So we can see that the average population there is in a zip code that Subway is in is 20,000, or the next closest competitor is 26,000. So if we want to dig into that a little bit more, we can look at the other graphs in the dashboard. So if we want to look at where Subway is located, we can see that Subway is very geographically diverse across the United States. They have a lot of locations in the middle of the United States and on the coast, whereas when you look at the competitors, you can kind of see they tend to only appear where there's big metropolitan areas. We can confirm this a little bit further when we look at the population of each zip code. So we can see over here that 17.2% of the zip codes that Subway is in have between 0 and 5,000 people, with an additional 17% between 5 and 10,000. So this visualization really highlights the fact that Subway is focusing on being in populations with a very small amount. We can contrast this with Starbucks, who has a little bit of a different approach, who tends to have the majority of their locations in places at around 25 to 30,000. We could then look at how many Starbucks exist in a single location to get a better idea of some of the opportunities for where Starbucks could expand or how their current locations are. So you can see that there's 22,000 zip codes that don't have a Starbucks at all. However, 2,357 of those zip codes do have a Dunkin' Donuts. So if Starbucks is ever looking to expand or add a new location, they could look to see where they have rivals, and maybe those are markets they want to enter. Additionally, there are about 3,000 zip codes that only have one Starbucks and 2,800 that have multiple Starbucks, including the zip code we're in right now in Mandalay Bay with 2 Starbucks right outside of here. So we can also see from this visualization that if you have a Starbucks, you're most likely going to have one of its competitors like Subway or McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts. So with my dashboard, you can run this analysis for every single different brand. With this custom dropdown that I built using parameter actions in the show and hide, you get a really easy way to visually see which brands have the most locations, and so you can guide that in your selection of different brands, and then just keep selecting different brands and continue your analysis over and over.
All right, great job, Lindsay. Now we're going to questions with Chantilly, Timothy, and Ali. Chantilly, what would you like to ask of Lindsay?
Lindsay, I see that you've consistently colored, and I'll go back to color again. You've consistently colored each of the locations in all of the graphs, except for the one on the left, the maps in particular. Can you explain your decision in doing that?
Yes. Well, the first one was when I was using a density map. There's only like the Tableau options, and I didn't figure out how to like make them each colored to their specific one. And I also didn't really want that to be like the main attention of it and have too much color. So I thought it would be easier to just kind of make it a little bit subdued.
All right, thank you. Timothy, what would you like to ask?
So it looks like, Lindsay, you've created an effective application that businesses could use to effectively make decisions, as you were also telling us.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us how you came to such a result? What drove you to build something like an application like this?
Yeah, so this is the type of stuff that I really enjoy building and the type of stuff that I do every day in my job, so I thought it was applicable to here. And as I was looking through the data, the thing that really struck out to me the most was how there's so many more Subways than there are in the other application or the other brand names. So I thought, how could brands use this type of data set to kind of figure out where they want to go as their next location, or kind of figure out what their strategies are and look at their different things. And that when I developed, that was kind of the way I wanted to go. I thought a business dashboard was the best way to display that information.
Thank you. Okay, and finally, Ellie.
Yeah,
You're up.
Lindsay, it's a beautiful dashboard, great use of color as always. There's obviously a lot of different choices you can make with maps, and I'm interested in why you chose this particular representation of the data on the map and how that adds to the story.
Yeah, it is a little bit as you would expect to see that where the locations are, especially in regards to population, but I thought that seeing the maps of the different competitors was really allow you to see that Subway is all over the United States, whereas the other rivals really aren't, and so I thought a map was the best way to do that.
Nice.
Great. Thank you, judges. All right. Yeah. All right, Hisham, well done. Why don't you tell us what you did with the data?
Thank you, Keisha. Hi, Data Fam. So as we know, that this data set is about food. And I love eating. And I'm also passionate about traveling and seeing diverse cultures. Exploring the data allowed me to find interesting insights, but two questions stood out to me. Does proximity influence cuisine dominance in the country? And what is the broad scale of culinary diversity level across countries? So let me take you on a journey through data and use a map to help answer those questions. So let's start by exploring the most diverse country in our data set, Canada. On the Canadian. On the bottom right here, you can find the bar chart that explains the culinary diversity level. And you can see that 99% of restaurants in Canada are from other countries. And you can see in the top right here the spread of cuisines in Canada. And you can see that's dominated by Chinese and American. But let's not draw any conclusions from just one data point. Crossing the pond and going straight to the United Kingdom, you can find a similar diversity level to Canada. But you can find that English people like India more than the fish and chips. And you can find also high dominance by a neighboring European country. Going all the way to Germany, that's when you start seeing a strong sense of national identity. More than 50% of restaurants in Germany are German, which makes the country a traditional country. And you can see a similar trend and behavior across European countries. All right, Italian, we love your food. We love your food, Italian. We love your food. Turkey, the exact mirror of Italy. Going all the way to Australia. You can find in Australia a very high dominance of Asian cuisines. And this is justified by the Australian proximity to Asia and Asian countries. Going all the way to Brazil, going all the way to Japan. Actually, that's an interesting point. Japan is one of the two outliers in our data set. Japan is the only country that has a strong sense of national identity and an even split with one other country, China. Going all the way to Brazil, high diversity level. Going to Mexico, Mexico is the second outlier in our data set because Mexico is the only country in the Americas that has, in our data set, that has a strong sense of national identity. You can go to the US and you can see how the American prefer Mexican over their food. And to answer our questions, and I hope you enjoyed this journey, and to answer our questions. One more thing.
All right.
I'm trying.
Truly excellent work. Thank you, Hisham.
Just to answer our questions, Australia, Japan, and the US justifies that yes, proximity is a factor. And also you can see on the top here, you can see countries with nothing more but national cuisines, and you can see on the bottom here a high diverse appetite. Thank you, Data Fam.
Thank you. All right, let's go over to Jock, Ellie, and Timothy for questions. Jock, what is your question for Hisham?
So I'm going to have to crack this open and look at it. I'm not understanding how...
You haven't got time.
I know. So what's super interesting for me is on the right-hand view, how you have a dual axis with lines connecting them. I don't know how he did that.
Hisham?
So I'm floating all the way. All my dashboard is floating.
All right. Let's move on with Ellie. What would you like to ask Hisham?
Hisham, it's an amazing dashboard. Great use of make line. I love the grouping and the colors. My question is also on the right. There's an interesting mapping. The mapping is kind of a central feature of the dashboard from the bottom to the top. But they're sorted differently, and the top seems to be sorted alphabetically, which is perhaps not a very meaningful sort. Can you talk about what we can visually infer from the relationships from the bottom and the top?
So this is a good question, and this is something I put thought into. I sorted them alphabetically because we have more cuisines than countries. And if I sorted the cuisines on top of the countries, how am I going to sort the rest of the cuisines? So it made sense and made logic for me to sort them alphabetically, and that's the reason why I used the connectedness of lines to show which cuisines relate to which countries.
All right, thank you. Timothy, you got the last question.
Yes, maybe a comment first, actually. So thank you for taking us on this trip. It was very interesting indeed. But I think when we moved from Germany to France, we may have forgotten to stop in Belgium to pick up some fries. Still, though, very interesting indeed. I don't really have a question. I mean, no, I have 100 questions, and I'm going to have to download the dashboard from Tableau Public and understand how this has been built, because it's quite a piece of work.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Timothy.
Thanks, everyone. Please, give it up for our contestants and their vizzes. Yeah. Stunning. Now remember, audiences both here and online, there's still a little bit of time for you to vote using Twitter. So go and vote for your favorite viz. Now, while we wait for our judges to deliberate, Lauren, tell us why verse maker Joshua's viz is Tableau poetry.
Yes, well, Josh is a poet, and he wrote for us 2 poems today. But really, it's 2 stories, 2 sides to the same story. A story about our food, the culture around our food, what we eat every day, and what's not on our tables. What I love about Josh's dashboard is that when it was finally built and I was able to interrogate it, I found so many insights for the food from different countries. I had a lot of fun playing with this dashboard. He's built for us a choose-your-own-adventure story, if you will, that I and you will love to read and eat over and over again.
Very good. Thank you, Lauren. Mark, how about it? Why does film and musical fan Lindsay deserve her name in lights?
So if you're familiar with Lindsay's Tableau Public profile, you know that business dashboards are her jam. And this dashboard is 100% in line with her personality. It is clear, it is concise, and it is on brand. Chantilly, I'm really glad you noticed the color choices, because she is on brand for conference using the actual Tableau conference color palette. She used the latest features, parameter actions, the show hide, and your interactivity that is built into this allows you to do deeper analysis. And this is truly a business dashboard. And that's why she should be named Iron Viz Champ.
Wow.
Nice.
Awesome, Mark. Finally, Ivan, tell us, did former personal trainer Hisham hustle for the muscle?
He surely did. And well, the answer to the question whether it should win is right there on the viz. Isn't it just beautiful? But more than anything, if you notice on the detail, on every design choice conveys a message, conveys part of the story that he wants to tell about interconnectedness. From the decision of the colors, from the decision of the fonts, from designing a new chart type that we're calling the balloon chart, these lines represent exactly that. Food is a big part of who we are in terms of our diversity, of our identity, and how those patterns evolve through the different countries. This Viz just really showcases that. And it took us on a journey. It entertained us as well. So yeah, there is no question, he's definitely the Iron Viz of tonight.
All right, thank you, Sue Vizzers. Thank you, contestants. Thank you, judges. And you know what? We're closing the votes. It's over. I repeat, the time for audience voting is over.
Ooh, it's done. You know, I can't wait to find out whose Viz will reign supreme.
No, no, no. It was whose Viz is the shiz.
That's right. All right. Okay, Andy. Each of our contestants have showed us their data superpowers today, but only one of them will be Iron Viz champion.
Awesome. Right, it looks like the judges are almost ready. Look at that. They are chilled out. Right, nice. I like that.
Okay.
Now, hang on a minute. We are going to need a very special effect for the announcement.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got it.
What do you mean you've got this? Last year was pretty cool, Keisha, so we've got to kind of level up a bit.
I got it.
You sure?
Oh, yeah. I have a lightsaber.
Audience, you know they're not really lightsabers, right?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
She's got it. Wow. Well, judges, do you have a winner? Oh. Do you know if you I have a, are you a scoring auditor? You know you're not. Our scoring auditor, are we ready?
Perhaps.
We are not ready. How much longer do we have, do we think?
My.
We don't. Okay. We are still waiting for the scoring auditor to tally up the scores. So, reminders. First of all, want to thank Pitney Bowes once again for providing this delicious deep dish food data that our contestants have been using today. Also, remind you, go to Viz Gallery on the second floor foyer and sign up. What did you sign up for?
What did I sign up for?
What do you sign up for at
Tableau
Viz Gallery?
Public.
Yeah,
Of
but
course.
what's this one thing in your inbox every day?
Oh, it's a daily dose of Viz-spiration.
Viz of the day.
I'm
That's
just saying.
absolutely right.
That sounds like a lot less cool than Viz-spiration. I'm just saying.
All right, that's good. Now the scoring auditor appears to have run away.
We've lost him.
We've lost him. What should we do? Barry Manilow, anybody? Oh, we're going to go to Taha. Right. Her name was Lola.
Oh. We have a...
She wasn't. No, save us.
Oh,
Let's go to
please,
Taha.
please.
Taha, let's go back to you on the floor and get some perspective from your
Andy.
guests.
These narratives were really impressive. With me right now, I have Sarah Bartlett, BI and Analytics Consultant from Slalom. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us. I know you host one of these activities, Iron Quest, and you see Vizes all the time. What do you think about these 3 Vizes?
They're all amazing. I mean, the design is so sleek in all 3 of them. I think it's really great how the individual design of each of the artists on stage has come through. So I can tell from looking at these Vizes just who did them, right? It's great. The black background on Hesham's is really slick, and the design is just on point. I love how the slider kind of underlines the title. It's just fantastic. And on Lindsay's, I just love the overall design, how she's tied all the colors together, and it's super simple, super sleek. And Josh's is great. I love the tile map and how he's got that button, how you flip between the two. It's just fantastic. So they've all done really well. So.
Thank you so much for those insights, Sarah.
Taha, anybody else down there that wants to say something? Paul Banoob?
Who wants to say something new down here?
Paul Banoob might want to say something.
Oh, I see him. I see him down there.
Come on down here.
You know how to use Tableau, don't you, Paul?
Look over this way.
Can't.
Tell us your title.
So I'm Paul, I work for UBS. I look after a big Tableau server environment, and my comment on these visualizations is, you know, they're pretty good, but these guys can't upgrade a multi-node Tableau server environment.
Can you,
Thank
Paul?
you so much, Paul.
Thank goodness.
Back to you, Keisha and Andy.
Are we? What am I
Is
seeing?
it back to us?
No, it's magic trick. I can't do magic tricks on stage in front of 7,000 people. I can see what's going on here. Ben Jones!
All right.
Back to Taha.
Ben, tell us about yourself and also what you think about these vizzes. So wonderful to have you here.
I don't think anyone wants to hear about me, but I will say those vizzes are amazing, right, everybody? Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
Well, what I love is
They're still telling.
some folks over there. You know, Joshua really, to me, it was such like an emotional connection there, right? So there's a powerful message there. Lindsay, which is like the amazing usefulness of the app, right? And then obviously this incredible design on the end here. Each one has like such an amazing winning like quality about it. So I just can't pick it at this point. I have no idea who's going to win. So I'm waiting to find out. Like I know Andy and Kesha are definitely waiting to get.
We're waiting. We're here.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Sue Vizzers, any final words? Come on, Mark, how has it been to be a Sue Vizzer? Were you this excited or were you actually that excited?
So I will tell the story about how excited I was. So I'm sitting at my desk, and I receive a random message from direct message on Twitter because the person who messaged me forgot that I worked for Tableau. And he's like, hey, what are you doing for Tableau conference? I'm like, I have no idea. And it's a good thing that I work alone in my office at home, because when I got the ask to be a Sue Vizzer, I'm pretty sure I screamed, like in excitement. This has been a thrill, and it's been a pleasure to work with Lindsay and the rest of the contestants and the Sue Vizzers. It's been awesome.
Let's hear it for these guys. And I can tell you I'm still seeing some frantic conversations going on in the admin area of the audience.
A lot of whispering going on down there, pointing.
There's whispering, pointing.
Fast moving.
Judges. Oh, let's talk to the judges.
Is that what that pointing was?
Andy,
Come on, Jock.
One thing I want to say is all three of these, and also all the ones from the the feeder contests, all of those are places where you can go learn your data skills by opening them up and figuring out how they were done. And it's a tremendous opportunity for the community to continue to learn. I'm always learning more all the time.
Yeah. If anybody is not aware, you can download every single viz on Tableau Public. So when you see something that looks cool and interesting, have a look and break it out. If you want to get better, like Hisham has done in just 1 year, he made it to this stage. You can also get involved in community projects. We've got Makeover Monday.
Ooh.
Andy Kriebel and Eva Murray every single week share a data set which you can visualize. You can remake it into any visualize you want, and thousands of people are doing that. Who was at Makeover Monday on Tuesday? Right? 1,700 of you were there. If you want to get into the more technical things, you can do Workout Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which is Anne and Lorna and Andy, and I'm definitely missing somebody out there. Sorry. Oh, and Luke Stanky. Yeah, so that's a little bit more technical. They give you a bit of a challenge, and you can be like, how do I solve this challenge? And solve it, you do. Yeah. And if you are into Tableau Prep, and you should all be into Tableau Prep, you've got Prep-In Data on Thursdays run by Carl and Jonathan. So you can get Tableau Prep, develop all your skills. There's no reason we can't see any one of you on this stage next year.
Now, just to say what we're improving for correctly right now, we are tallying the Twitter votes. We want to make sure that they are accurate. Can't have any flubs.
I think we got some more people with Taha.
Ooh,
Who've you got, Taha?
Yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do, Andy. I have with me the famous Steven Wexler, Zen Master. Steve, what are you thinking about these vizzes? What is impressing you?
Well, first of all, if you need to stall for time, I'm your guy.
You have a lot of Twitter votes?
I specialize in that. These are insanely good. The emotional component, an app that you use, and this incredible storytelling and entertainment component. I'm dazzled by all three of them.
That's pretty impressive from Stephen Wexler, folks. Thank you, Steve. And then we have Ann Jackson.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Let us know what you think, Ann.
Yeah, so what I think is really interesting is we have our 3 scoring criteria, the storytelling, the analysis, and the design. And for me, Joshua nailed the storytelling. His viz came alive with storytelling. Lindsay, design, completely on point. I would expect nothing less. And Hesham, I think, honestly had the most interesting analysis. So it's going to be really intriguing what reigns supreme in terms of these visualizations, because I think they all hit it out of the park on each of those different categories.
It's so true. It'll be really interesting once we hear those results.
All right.
One day, maybe.
Do you think who's ready for the results?
Oh, thank goodness.
Check this out. I have a scoring auditor on their way. So Timothy, please, could you come to the stage? This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Have you still got your lightsaber ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah. You've been ready for a long time.
I'm ready.
This is it. This is the symbol of all the data storytelling that has been going on here today. There you go, Timothy. And now, are you opening it?
Don't La La Land this.
Can you whisper that to me? Can you whisper that to me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
Because she
whisper.
can't whisper on mic. What did you I just want to know what you whispered here. I don't want to be La La Land.
Yeah, don't La La Land.
Goes, what's going to happen? Oh, hang on. Is anybody ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even, I've lost it. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, the winner of the 2019 Iron Viz competition is... It's a tie. It's Hisham and Joshua Smith. Woo! Congratulations.
Well done. Work hard, play harder all day long. All the continents get jealous over me. You can see me 3D overseas. If you know me, then you know what I'm playing. Off in the Bahamas, stay there with my hand. Now live it up, live it up, live it up. Baby, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. And we gone.
All right. So, that's well. Holy cow.
Wow. Guys, tell us, how does it feel?
Confusing, yes. Hisham, what do you want to say? Quickly.
Who knew that one year ago I didn't know something like Tableau existed, and here I am today holding this.
Yeah.
I just want to say I would never be 1 inch close to where I am today without the data school, and I would never be here without my mentor Mina. And I want to thank everyone from JLL for bearing with me, and I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joshua. How is it feeling?
Surreal. Unreal. Huge thanks to the other 2 contestants. Couldn't think of 2 better people to be up against and a better person to share this with. We'll have to figure out how to solve all this in half for the flight home. I want to thank my wife. She's the superhero in this and all the work and effort she's put into that. My son, the superhero in training. Mom and Dad, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for you. But the Tableau data fam and all the cultivation you've done for me and gotten me to where I am, huge thanks to you. And of course, my amazing Sue Viz and all the wisdom and guidance and tolerance and patience she's put up with me over the last 3 weeks. Thank you.
Wonderful. Everyone, please put your hands together for our judges, our Sue Vizers, and of course, our 3 incredible finalists.
And thank you all for attending. May you have a sweet, savory, and decadent remainder of your conference. Until next time, we bid you
good
visiting.
Woo.
Boom.
Miss Worldwide, let's celebrate. Yeah.
Holy cow.
I know.
That was incredible. I can't believe it was a tie, but I kind of can because they were all so good that I just wanted to give it to all three of them anyway.
Yeah.
So tell me, as someone who knows these businesses well, what really stood out about their visualizations?
Okay, so each one had their own different stories.
Sure.
And they did have a different style as well. I just loved the three of their styles. But yes, I did vote for Hisham, definitely. I do like the Sanki type of the biz that he does. Yeah, so they were all different and so cool.
I think I'm with you. I thought they were all incredible, and I think it was a really hard decision, so I'm not totally surprised that there was a tie. They talked a little bit about how you can go on Tableau Public and you can actually download, if you see a viz you like or that's interesting, you can download it. It's a great way to learn. Is that something that you do?
Yes, so that's how I started as well.
Oh, wow.
And it's a great way to learn. So that's what I encourage people also to do. And Tableau Public helps you do that. So there are awesome vizes out there in the gallery. So you can just go into their profiles and just download if you like it. And just, reverse engineer on how to do it. Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm going to have to try it out with some of these. Are you going to download these vizes and try it out?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure a ton of our data fam is going to be downloading these vizes and trying them for themselves. This is just always such an incredible part of Tableau Conference. It's so unique to this conference. And I know that, it's just incredibly inspiring to see. People get really excited about it. It was really great to just see how excited people were, and we all definitely waited till the last minute. I was nervous at the end.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we've got a ton more coming up tomorrow, so we'll be back tomorrow morning. Dev's on stage, quite possibly the coolest, nerdiest keynote there is. Lots of new features, lots of innovations, people just screaming their heads off over features in Tableau. I can't wait. So I'll be back. It was so nice to have you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference. And everyone joining us on TC Live, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to spend the day with you. I will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye-bye.